Okay,
Yes,
so
yes.
yeah, so see, this is our learning path. So I always follow SAP's learning path. Okay, because that will help you in preparing for certifications. Always encourage my students to at least aim for the certification. Reason for that is because they are new to the technology, and certification can give them kind of a credibility in the market also. Like at least you don't need to prove that okay you have work on that, and you can simply say that okay you are certified. On the downside of it, when you say certified, people expect you to know certain things, right? uh, so it's basically a tricky trade. So but always go for the certification. um, Aim for it in next 3 months, 6 months, depending upon your current responsibilities, your load of work, and how much time you can commit. Okay. Based upon my experience, if you commit 5 to 6 hours on a weekly basis, okay, when I say 5 to 6 hours, that is your own time, not including the online time that we are meeting, right? So 5 to 6 hours of on the on weekly basis should be sufficient to go for the certification in like next 3 months. Okay, so you can actually pass the certification exam if you spend like 6 hours on a weekly basis, right? So this is the key thing about the suit. I can share you the content anyways, but just to give you a brief overview about the course. So the course spans around up to 25 hours. That's what I'm committing, okay, for this one. And what we will be discussing about is mostly about integration strategy. We will also talk about a business technology platform. You have probably heard this term. Why it is important, what is clean core approach, what is a integration strategy for the clean core approach, right? Uh, Using some practical examples, depending upon based upon my past experiences and the challenges that I have faced in the project. Okay, from the architecture as well as from the developer's point of view, we can cover up that as well. The core focus area of the training will be I flows, that is integration flows, and API management. Okay, so we will be
Okay.
discussing about how to design integration flows like ETL pipelines or data pipelines. What are the different options available? What are the participants? The transformations. You have validators. You have mappings, right? So the typical iFlow or typical ETL thing. Okay. The good thing is it requires very limited understanding of programming, so you don't need to be a programmer, at least not in the integration space. There are other tools also available in the market. So if you pick up any integration tool, if you start with that say integration suite, the concepts are pretty much same in all other tools as well, because the integration concepts remains the same. There are adapters, there are protocols, and then there is a handshake between the two systems, right? So what are the standards that you need to follow? So you can also extrapolate whatever you have learned now to the other technologies. Like Dell Boomi is a very interesting, you can say, a very prominent integration platform in the market. Okay, and it is also quite good. So I've seen a lot of companies at the enterprise level. They have enterprise integration platform. Uh, I have not seen much clients or many clients who are using SAP Integration Suite as integration platform, as an enterprise integration platform. But whenever they are connecting any SAP systems, okay, so they will prefer Integration Suite. Hope this makes sense.
Yes, it is.
Right. So there are two other platforms just for awareness. One is MuleSoft, that is kind of an integration standard enterprise level integration platforms I have seen. Other is Boomi platform, which is another pass platform as a service model. There is Informatica integration suite as well. Informatica also you can use for designing ETL flows and all, exchanging the data part from one system to another system. Okay, so Why I'm telling you this is you should be also aware of what are the competitors of SAP integration suite in the market, right? And uh, if you know, as I said earlier, if you know any one of these technologies, any one of these platform, you can easily upskill yourself or cross skill yourself in the other technology platform also. Okay.
Correct.
So
Okay.
as I said, this is like around 25 up to 25 hours of the course. Then we start focusing on to the distributed arc means basically what is exactly the integration landscape means. Okay. And the core part of our training will be API management. You have probably heard these terms called API first, right? And API marketplace, and even in SAP also, there is called business accelerator hub, right? So which is basically a API marketplace. So you will see a lot of APIs from S/4HANA public cloud, from private cloud, as well as Ariba, SuccessFactors, right? So there are many ERPs or CRM solutions which provide certain APIs. So as a integration expert, the first and the foremost thing that you should know is how to consume, how to publish these APIs. Okay, so this is a very practical skill, and we're gonna discuss it in more detail in the course. Other thing which we will focus more is on this cloud integration. So this is where we focus more onto the I flows, integration flows, designing ETL pipelines, right? What are the various adapters? We will see, we'll pick few adapters which is commonly used. It is not possible to cover up all the adapters, right? But we'll pick up quite prominent ones which is needed. And if you are familiar with let's 2 or 3 adapters, the same you can just quickly learn to other adapters also. Then we will also touch about event mesh. You have probably heard this term also, event driven architecture. So what exactly event driven architecture is, uh, when exactly it is used, and why it is important in the integration landscape. Okay. So these are the 3 main focus areas of the training. Apart from this, there is going to be case studies, the practical experience that we'll be talking about. You can share your experiences, what you have seen in your day-to-day life. If you have any scenario in mind, we can discuss that as well. We can try to do that within the integration landscape also. So any questions related to the course content and all?
No, we not relates to this. Yes.
Okay. So what I'm expecting is out after this course, okay. So the key outcomes, or you can say the key thing that you will get is out of this course is one is a fair understanding of SAP integration suite. That's important. Other thing is the usage of integration suite within the BTP landscape, like how or in the SAP ecosystem at large. That's also the understanding that you should be able to develop. And the important part is you should be able to design ETL flows, you can develop it, as well as the API things, right? So at least if you can do these things at the end of the course, by the end of this course, uh, that defines the success of this particular course. Okay. Questions, any?
No,
Okay.
we as I told you at the beginning, this side of the things are very new. So premature question would not put any sense at this
No,
point of
any
time.
no. So this is a safe environment. So no question is premature, no question is silly, because ultimately it's you who wants to learn, right? And I will probably not do a justice if you have any questions or you don't ask those questions, right? So it's really important that uh, you understand the concept, right? Coding, designing, all this is just a byproduct of that. If you understand the concept, you can easily do the things. Yeah, it may take time, right? It may take some time to prepare for the interviews, to clear the interviews and all, but have clear understanding of the concept. Okay, so why, like, just to give you an example, what are the key things for the API first, right? When to use APIs, when to use event driven, or what is the event driven, what are the key components of the event driven, like, so there is a publish, subscribe events, what are events and when to trigger those events. All these are the key things that needs to be, and
Hmm.
hopefully by the end of this course you should be able to define or at least explain these components also. Okay.
That makes sense. Yes. I would rather say it is more about understanding the concept, not looking into the job. Because when
Mhm.
working within the business side, not having understanding about the product or how this tool is working is always a bit difficult when it comes to deal with the stakeholders. And the implementations partner, it is hard to manage as well because I have no idea on this side what is happening.
Yeah, no, that's a fair point, and that's why I said earlier also, right? So integration is a very, very important layer now because of there are a lot of systems involved in this SAP in the client landscape, right? Be it SAP, be it non-SAP systems.
Yes. On within the current environment or the instance where I am working, the as you correctly said, multiple platform in the landscape. Like I can see the Cronus as a time management. I can see LMS is a different one. PM survey is on third party module. Success factor. Employee data is on EC, whereas the payroll is with ECC. Yeah. So when the business start growing gradually, so they have mushroom approach, right? Using multiple systems, and
Yeah,
gradually the legacy system has been induced so inside of the organizations, not only the organizations, I must say, inside the organization culture, no one wants to take a risk by eliminating and either go for a full suite ERP or a unified solution. This is okay, fine. We are fine with that as long as if all this would be integrated.
exactly, and that sometimes create a integration debt also. And nowadays, even what is happening is a lot of merger and acquisition activities are happening. So that also uh, make you make a compulsive necessity to know about integration, because when you are acquire a different company, you have to ensure that systems are integrated and streamlined. And similarly, if you are spinning off a subsidiary to a legal entity, right, that also creates integration important, not specific integration, but something related to, okay, now what needs to be exposed, and keeping the data security, data privacy things also in mind. So yes, because of business, integration is a very, very important piece in the puzzle. And having a fair understanding of how different technologies work, how this layer work, and what are the key things, key handshakes that we need to keep in mind, that will be really, really helpful. Yeah.
Perfect. That makes sense. Yeah. And Abhi, the integration concept or how does the is all this ERP or unified integration work? Is it same with a different tool, or they are absolutely differ from each other, like SAP BTP Dayforce?
Hmm. Sorry, can you repeat the last part?
Yes, like what we say is SAP. Give me a moment. Let me rephrase what I am trying to ask.
Hmm.
The integration architecture or the process, is it same with ERP and unified solutions, or is it different?
Yeah, so it's pretty much there are, when we talk about integration architecture, right? So there is something called integration patterns and integration styles that we need to uh, keep in mind, right? Now, any system, and SAP is no different than that. Any system also has their own inbuilt native integration capabilities, right?
Mm-hmm.
So pictorially, if I just simply design, okay, let's say this is your system A, okay, and this is my system B, okay. So this is my system A, this is my system B, and let's take your example only. There is employee, okay, structure, right? So this is my employee. So employee is BP in SAP, right? Employee is basically BP in SAP. So let's assume that for a minute, this system A is your SAP system, and this is my workday, right? So this is my workday, and this is my SAP. So one of the important thing is, because both the systems have different data structure, right? So there might be cases where the employee, let's assume for a minute, and I have not worked on employee or workday before, okay, but let's say the employee has in workday it has 80 attributes, and in S4 HANA, because it uses the BP, the same business partner profile, so it has, let's say, 200 attributes, right? And out of those 200 attributes, it is possible that some of the attributes might match, some of the attributes may not match, right? So what you need if you want to exchange data, so let's say employees created here, everything is managed here, but you are running your payroll in S4 HANA, right? So that means you need to have a communication with each other, and that's where you require a platform, right? That where you require an integration platform. Now this platform can be anything, but what exactly it needs something here which can convert anything to SAP language, right? Or SAP structure, right? It needs something here. So this is called adapters, right? So this is called adapter. Now, similarly, the same thing I need here also, right? And this is also an adapter, but this adapter will ensure that your data from workday is passed, right? And somewhere here, you will design your ETL, means your flow. Now, with respect to SAP, this is called I flow, that is integration flow, right? And depending upon who is sender, who is recipient, this is called your participants. Participants. So this is participant A, and this is participant B. Okay. And it is also possible that you are checking, let's say, some government site for taxation. Okay. And this is another system which is you are using only for let's say for on-prem calculations and all. So you are getting some details here itself, right? So though you are sending data from employee from workday to S4 HANA and vice versa, you are calculating what is the income tax slab. Based upon that, the payroll is deducting the tax, something like that. Okay. So all this is being designed within this platform. Okay. So that's why it is important. And this is kind of a translator, you can say, because this speaks another language, this speaks another language. So what are the typical kind of things that you will do in this box is mapping, transformation, error handlings, right? Connecting with enrichment. You would say this because this is an enrichment exercise. You may be splitting the messages, you may be combining the messages. So these are typical integration things that you will do. Now, if I just extrapolate this with SAP only, so you have S4 HANA system here, and you have, let's say, SAP BW. Okay, so both are SAP systems. Now, what you can use is here you can use iDoc, here you can use maybe OData or APIs or native DRF connections. So some of those things you can use, the native capabilities you can use, not DRF. Let's say this is your MDM, SAP MDM platform. Okay, so now you can use DRF framework also within that. So depending upon what is available in the what is available in the system, what integration capabilities that native environment provides, you can decide what to choose. Another scenario is, let's say, there is a SaaS based application. There's something called Anaplan. Anaplan is a tool that is used for planning purposes. Okay, and so instead of passing it here, you will find that there are some standard adapters available, but these are not sender adapters. So this is only receiver adapters. So adapters can be sender, adapters can be receiver. So if I do like this, S4 HANA is a sender because it is sending the data to iFlow, and Anaplan is receiver, right? So see this, the flow. So this is called, this will define what's outbound and inbound. So from integration layer point of view, this is your inbound communication, and the orange one is the outbound communication, right? But from S4 HANA point of view, if you're looking from S4 HANA lens, the outbound communication is this blue one, right? And there is no inbound. And from Anaplan point of view, this is your inbound communication because Anaplan is expecting something here, right? So these are some of the generic terms, common components that will span across multiple platforms.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Okay.
So, Abhi,
Yeah.
in a situation like your legacy system, which is SAP ECC, okay, and now
Mm-hmm.
the source system is success. The employee master data is sitting on EC, Employment Central Success Factor, and the payroll is on-prem, which is ECC. So both the system has been integrated. They are replicating. The master data is replicating with the ECC. In this case, is it possible if we integrate both the system, the report or the data which we will create on the source system, which is SAP SuccessFactor, can it be replicated with the ECC as well?
So if I understood correctly, SAP success factor is the source, right?
Yeah.
So this is the source of truth where your master data resides. And then you
Absolutely.
are sending data to ECC, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Which uses this master data and performs some logic, some business operations like payroll processing or something like that, right?
Only payroll. Yeah. Hmm.
Only payroll. So let's say payroll, it is doing that. And then what you want is a reports.
Hmm.
Reports, where exactly you want these reports?
Um, Business wants to develop this report within SuccessFactor. Okay. Reporting
Mhm.
module. They wanted to replicate with the ECC as well. Within
So you have
ECC.
so you have a reporting module here in SuccessFactor, right?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
ECC, you want to replicate the reports. Means when you say replicate, what exactly you mean by that? Is it like data transfer, or you want to access the reports from SuccessFactor within ECC or SAP system?
Yes, the second one is most appropriate, what the sites want or the business wants. The
Okay.
data
So
transfer. Yeah.
okay. So if I just draw it, because that way we can have a clear understanding, right? So this is your success factor.
Hmm?
SF, sorry, success factor. SF,
Yeah,
I
SF
always
is
use.
also. I do.
For me, SF is Salesforce. So okay, so
I do
sometimes
use SF as well.
SAP S4 or ECC. This is your on-prem system, right? That's what you are saying. It
Yes.
can be
Yeah.
anything. It can be anything basically. So this is your on-prem system. This is your SaaS uh, cloud-based system, right? And it has your. Let me just convert this to green. Okay, and the data is now moving here, which is your employee, let's say for payroll, right?
Hmm.
Like timesheets and okay, so payroll specific data and payroll is processed here. Payroll processing. Okay, so this is okay. So now comes the reporting part. So you have reporting module here,
Correct. Yeah.
right? And what does this report does? What it is doing?
It captures the employee onboarding and offboarding data.
So employee onboarding, let's say employee onboarding. Okay.
Examples.
So this is a employee onboarding report. Okay. And here also you want employee onboarding data, or is it only the data that you want?
They just wanted the data. Yeah, I want the data.
So this is where they want data, and that data, this reporting data is available here, right?
Yes,
In SAS.
in SAS.
Okay. And they want to replicate the data here.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So basically it is not the reporting, because reporting is
Mhm.
using this data and then the reporting is working, right? So this is your architecture, and this is the architecture for this. This is your SaaS DP, and now we need it to S4HANA. Okay, so what we need to do in this case, and then there can be multiple ways of doing it, right? But if I use integration suite, right? So I can run a job, right, on a daily basis. So there are two ways you can do it. One is uh, by running a job more like a batch mode. Okay, so you schedule a job, you will have a connection from here, okay, and to here, which will just simply transfer the data at a periodic basis. Okay, that is one approach. Other approach can be whenever there is a change in this data, okay, that is called event based basically. You are calling an API and that is pushing data here. Okay, so it can use messaging, it can use publish subscribe event. That's another thing. Okay, and the third scenario can be, now what you can do is you can design a Fiori report here. Okay, Fiori app for employee onboarding. Okay, and what you can do, you can connect this with your, you can call an integration suite API. Okay, so you call OData API. Now this OData API will get the data from here expose all your transformation logic as an API and just display the outcome. So if this report has, let's say, 50 attributes, but in the report you are displaying only 10 attributes, so it will display only 10 attributes on the fly. So this is called like real-time reporting. So you are not replicating any data, you are not doing any shadowing here. So on the fly, API, using API first approach, you are connecting your third party, means this application through integration suite, to your Fiori application. And this Fiori application is running either here or it can run on BTP environment. So depending upon what kind of a landscape you have.
Okay.
Okay. So again, as I said, it's so if you have these kind of a questions, I think the training is perfect for you, because that's what I love to discuss the solutions and the architecture strive. We will do a hands-on also, just to give
Mhm.
you a understanding of how exactly it works, how to create these APIs, right? But because of the limitations of the lab, because of the limitation of the trial landscapes, we won't be able to do the full-fledged end-to-end scenarios, right? So sometimes we have to just do a, you can say, we have to create a synthetic data just to simulate the real environment. But the concept can be deployed or can be tested or validated in the live environments or in the production environments as well. So with this, let me just quickly show you how what exactly it means. Okay, so this is a BTP platform trial account, and here I've already provisioned integration suite and all. So when we do it, officially start the training, I can show you how to set up this account, how to set up your account, integration suite, what is the role of BTP environment. So we'll cover up that anyways. Now this is my integration suite platform. And integration is suite is basically a platform as a service model. Okay, so it provides you the entire platform of that. Now there are various capabilities within integration suite. Let's say the build integration scenarios, the APIs, trading partners, interface mapping, right? So you will see migration scenarios, extending non-SAP connectivity also, right? So there are a lot of capabilities. Our core focus will be build integration scenario and manage APIs. These are the two key areas where I'll be focusing more. But we will be discussing about other capabilities also, like this migration scenarios, though it is not useful for you if a person is coming from the PO background, process orchestration background. For them, they have to migrate their existing integration flows and all. So for that scenarios, you may have to assess, okay, whether it can be migrated to integration suite or not. So this service is used for that. And you can see here there is a request. So basically you have to liaise with SAP as well for that. Okay.
Mm.
Now let me just quickly show you the non-SAP connectivity. So what integration suite provides you a inventory of open connectors, and these connectors actually provides you inbuilt functionalities to connect with third-party SaaS-based application. Example is you can connect with the Sugar CRM, you can connect with the Dropbox, the Google Drives, and these kind of things. So if you go to connectors, so you can see here these are the connectors that we have, and list is really big here,
Yeah.
and depending upon again, so we have seen one HubSpot CRM use case also. Okay, so HubSpot CRM is a very basically the scenario was there was a big client who was using SAP, but other one of the subsidiary, right, local market was using their own instance of CRM for identification of the prospects, creating a prospects and all. So now when the prospects are converted into the customer needs to create it into the SAP system, and that's where we have used this kind of scenarios. This is just I'm sharing a real example, practical examples where the integration becomes critical. Okay. Similarly, you can connect with your cheap Google Suites, NetSuite CRM, Oracle Clouds. Okay, Sage accounting. Sage is quite prominent also for accounting payroll. I think Sage can also be used for that. I have not worked on Sage, but I have in my client landscape, I have seen Sage as well as Salesforce. Salesforce is quite common, I have seen.
Yeah.
Snowflake is another one, interesting one. The Snowflake, this is a data platform. So you sometimes you have to consume data from third party or these data platforms so that you can enrich your data further. Okay, so it can be used as a participant also. So these are list of the various you can say open connectors that SAP provides. Okay, like Zendesk for service management and all, Zoho CRM, the Indian version of that, right? So this will give you a very good, interesting insights about. So there are like 173 open connectors that's available as of now. Okay. Uh, Other thing is sorry. Okay. So other thing that we have is your integration scenarios and the APIs. So you can see here that we have this is an integration suite dashboard, and this is a trial version. So you can see here this trial version is limited for 16 days now. Um, so we can use the trial versions for practice and all. But if you have a account, uh, tenant account of integration suite, we can use that as well. So any exercise that we develop, we can use it, we can develop it in your landscape. Or maybe sign, see if we can arrange some kind of a non-trial account also. We can think about it. Okay, but the key thing, the course is entirely based upon the trial account.
Mm.
And then if I show you some of the integrations, so there are some integrations that is available by default. So these are like templates. So you can see here, success factor one is there, Linux is there, there are Salesforce adapter for SAP integration suite. So these are just you can say template based integration flow. So if you select any of this, so you can see here there are various artifacts available. Okay, so Sales Cloud. So confirm business partner relationship application from S4 HANA. So this is our application one. So if you click here, it will show you the integration flow for that. Okay, so see here, this is the integration flow for this. Okay, so we'll be discussing what exactly this discover means, what are the various APIs. So in the API section, you can see some of the standard APIs that you can leverage. And basically, you can use it as a boilerplate and then enhance it as per your requirements. So in the design one, in the design tab, we design our integration APIs and flows. So if you go to a package, so you can see here that you can create different type of artifacts. So you can create value mapping, APIs, libraries, adapters, integration flows, message type, data types. So we will not be creating a custom adapter, but our course will be limited to the integration flows. You will see APIs, value mapping, script collection will do, data types, message types. So these are some of the key things which is commonly used. Okay, rest others are very specific to the project requirements and all. Now, if I take you to the iFlow, uh,
Mhm.
this is a typical integration flow, and this is our core focus area. Okay, so this one and the API one. So how you can expose this flow to the outside world. So you can see here, this is just a, a simple, right from the scratch integration flow design. So there is senders, there are recipients, and if I just edit it, okay. So here you can see we have participants. So you can have receiver system, sender system, you have your processes. So we'll talk about what are the exceptions of process, what is local integration process, right? So we'll discuss all these details. These are the events. So what is the purpose of this event? Which event uh, uh, is applicable for what kind of a scenarios? That's we will do. This is for mapping. So ID mapping, operation mapping, message mapping, accessibility mapping. So we'll see the concept remains the same, but we'll see message mapping and accessibility mapping probably hands-on of that. Then we have transformation. Now this is really, really important part because this is where you can do your transformation logic and all. Now, SAP does provide you a lot of converters as well. So CSV to XML, EDI to XML, JSON to XML, and from XML to these. But if something is, if you need some kind of a programming or advanced transformations, you can always rely on scripts. So you can create JavaScript and Groovy script. So this is the only place where you require some programming language. Um, Not always used in projects, right? But sometimes because of the unique project requirements, it is needed. So we'll touch base that as well. Then you have external calls, and this is where you will call other systems. So this will like in this case, right? So I was calling government APIs and all. So this is how to make an external call from the system. Then there are routing. So this will define, okay, how your flows, conditional branching, the splitting of the messages or the combination of the messages. All these things we'll discuss about here. Then comes encryptor, decryptor. This is all your security part, and then finally the persistence part. So once it is done, then you should be able to design your iFlows. So the core focus of the training is designing these iFlows. Okay. Now, if I show you certain adapters, so you can see here these are the adapter types. So these are all standard adapters. Okay. So like success factor is also one of the standard adapter that we have. Uh, so when you create a connection from sender to the iFlow, then it becomes a sender adapter. But when you can make a connection from end to receiver, then it becomes a receiver adapter. So there are more receiver adapters compared to the sender adapters. So keep that in mind. So like Facebook, I can publish something on the Facebook. I can publish something to the Coupa. And similarly, you can see here, Snowflake is there. Twitter, I can put. Okay. And if you want to connect with any other systems, you can always use this. And iDocs are also you can use JDBC connections, which covers a lot of on-prem systems as well. Okay, so this is our key outcome of the training. Apart from that, there is a graph, there is a B2P scenario. So we'll touch a little bit about all these things, but not in detail, but as a theoretical level, at a high level. We'll see how to test the APIs. This is important. This will cover up. You will see how to configure the APIs, how to test the APIs, right? So all these things we'll be discussing in the monitoring as well. Okay. So this is your test part. So if you are familiar with the Postman, it should be easy to learn. Similarly, configure. So this is where you will publish your APIs. Okay. So you can create an API. I can create an API proxies, and then so you can see here if I have an API provider, or I can use it and define my own API, which can expose my ETL flow as an API. Something which I explained, cover up this kind of a scenario. Okay. Monitoring is important because that's the key advantage of having any integration platform. So you should have full monitoring, full control over of your entire end-to-end flow, right? So these are some of the key things we'll be discussing during the course. And apart from that, if you have any questions, anything, we'll try to cover up as part of the flow itself. Any questions so far?
Sorry, I was on mute. That sounds interesting, Abhi. Yeah.